Good Thursday morning. We welcome in all the WFAN listeners listening to the warm-up show with Al and Jerry and all the CBS Sports Network viewers that were watching the 2007 Buick Invitational that was just running for the last hour. Hey, we got baseball back tonight, and Jacob deGrom will be taking the mound for the Mets after a couple of extra days of rest. He did not pitch against the Yankees. There was a day off, so he will pitch against the Rockies tonight. And I've been saying ever since he came back, I need to see 5 starts with no issues from Jacob deGrom for me to feel comfortable about him finishing the regular season and pitching well in the postseason. Tonight is start 5, and all eyes are on him because it didn't look great in his last start, and they gave him some extra days when they could have pitched him against the Yankees. So I'm a little nervous. Good morning, Boomer. How are you?
I'm doing great, G, and I will follow you up by saying tonight starts what I believe is the beginning of the stretch run for both the Mets and the Yankees. For the Mets, importantly, they start at home. They're against Colorado, not a very good team. They have 4 games with them. deGrom is starting this series off, and Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor, Starling Marte, the Vogelback, all these guys now, Mark Canha, this is the stretch run. This is the 37-game run at the end of the season that will determine if you can get one of these top 2 seeds in the Major League Baseball playoffs on the National League side. So I couldn't ask for a better pitcher to be on the mound to start this run, and I'm trying to think about what kind of record I want to see from them, because when you take a look at their schedule, and I don't really like to go that far out. A lot of it has to do with the health of your own team.
You love going far out with the schedule.
I know, but when I think about it, they're going to play 2 teams, the Dodgers, actually 3 teams, the Dodgers, the Brewers, and the Braves. And there's 9 games amongst those 3 teams. The other games left on that list.
Oh, yeah. Worst teams in baseball.
The 28 other games. Mm-hmm. Are games where, I'm looking at a 24-4 record in those games.
Yeah, should be.
So I'm trying to think out of the 37 games left, what I'd like to see them get to. And, this is it. This is, you've had an unbelievable year. Okay, you got swept by the Yankees. Who cares? You lost, 4 out of 5 or 3 out of 4 to Atlanta the last time you saw it. It doesn't matter. What matters now is how you finish. And guys need to finish strong. Pete Alonso needs to wake up now. He's got a chance to do some great things, offensive numbers. He's going to see a lot of crappy pitching. A lot of crappy pitching is coming. So offensive numbers should start exploding. Confidence should start coming back. And this is the stretch run for them to win the NL East and have one of the top 2 records in the National League.
Yeah, and if you want to break it down a little bit more, with the immediacy, they got a 10-game homestand, right? So focus on that. Now, the Dodgers are a part of that homestand. But, yeah, there's a lot of bad teams. You got 7 games against the Pirates in there. You got the Nationals in there. You got the Marlins in there. You got the Cubs in there. I mean, this is it.
Got the A's in there.
Yeah, you do. So it is really the worst. And the Rockies in there as they are facing for the next couple of games.
And the Nationals to finish the season with.
Yeah, right.
So, look, division games are always a little bit different. But I just, and I'm not worried about the Braves. I'm only worried about the Mets.
How could you not be worried about it? They won again. They're the game and a half back. They don't lose. They're defending World Series champions. If you're not paying attention to that.
They're going to St. Louis now.
Okay.
All right, so now their schedule gets a little tougher. The Mets' schedule gets a little bit of a breather. We're going to be going back and forth now over the next 37 games. And that's why, health plays a big part of it. Before I went on vacation last week, we were talking about the health of the Mets and, it's heaven. Everybody's playing. Everybody's healthy. Then comes the groin. Then comes the oblique. Then comes the bad back. And then comes this. Then comes that. And then Beatty's in the lineup the next thing you know. And, okay, but he's not ready for prime time just yet on a consistent basis. This is it. This is the run that you have to play your best baseball right now in order to get you where you want to get to when it comes to the new reformulated playoffs in Major League Baseball. And that is getting one of the top 2 records in the National League.
And by the way, if you look at the Braves' schedule, it is tougher than the Mets' schedule, but everybody's schedule is tougher than the Mets' schedule down the stretch because I believe they have just the easiest out of anybody. It's not that formidable. I mean, they do end up going out to the West Coast and they play the Mariners, which have had a really good season. They play the Giants, who have had a good season. So, I mean, not a good season compared to last year. So it's not, and they have some really bad teams in there as well, and they just got finished with the Pirates.
All right,
so they do have the Cardinals this weekend, but this is a critical one. I mean, if you can sweep the 4 games against the Colorado Rockies, which is something that is really attainable, and the Braves lose 2 out of 3 to the Cardinals on the road over the weekend, then you have something. Then you get a little bit more breathing room. But obviously a game and a half, when you had it back up to 7 in the loss column, now it's whittled back down to a game and a half. I mean, it's too close for comfort. I mean, we used to talk about when they were up 10.5 games, how getting it below 5 was too close to comfort.
But we also knew that when we looked at the schedules and we matched it up, and we knew that, the Braves are going to be looking, for a little bit of revenge of what happened 2 weeks ago.
Sure.
And that's exactly what happened, and then they rebounded against Philly, and then unfortunately they split with the Yankees by getting swept, and, now comes, like I said, now legitimately is the stretch run. Mm-hmm. This is it.
Yep.
And you have 37 games left, and it looks like your pitching staff is relatively healthy. Oh, God, I hate even saying that.
Well, I mean, that's why I started with what I started with, is I'm sorry, and I don't want – this is not a negative take. It's a realistic take, is the fact that Jacob deGrom, even Keith Hernandez said it when he was on with us. He looked uncomfortable in his last start, and then they pushed him back a couple of days. Did they push him back a couple of days just because they want to make sure that he's healthy and the extra rest they believe is really going to help him? Or was he not feeling 100% and they weren't telling us about it? And we know Jacob deGrom, prior to missing an entire year, was coming out of games, getting MRIs. They were clean, pitching an inning or two, coming out of a game, getting an MRI. They were clean. So, I mean, that is still in my head. So I don't know what we're going to get from him tonight. And I really, really hope that he goes out there, 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs. The Mets jump on the Rockies early. They end up winning 5-0, and then you have nothing to worry about. But I need to see it. And if anybody is just assuming that Jacob deGrom is going to be great and going to be healthy the rest of the way, I mean, you're not paying attention. And what do you expect out of him tonight? I mean, it could be anything. It really could be.
I'm sorry, I expect greatness.
Yeah, I know.
We've all talked about how when he's on, he's the best pitcher in baseball. I expect greatness. I'm sorry. He's been gone for too long. He's had too many little nagging injuries. They give him an extra day, whatever. They want to be careful with him. And, go out there and give me 7 innings, throw 100 pitches, and
he's not. They won't even let him throw 100 pitches now.
Let's call it a day.
They won't. Well, they won't. I mean, which is nuts. I mean, it'll be like 80, 85 at most. Work him back in, couple extra days. I mean, it's just like enough already. I guess if you get him to his maximum in the playoffs, then that's what you really want to do. But, at the same time, you're in a division race here.
Yeah.
Say what you want about not paying attention to the Braves. Every game counts, especially with the new playoff setup, as you mentioned. So, I mean, these games are critical as well when you're talking about winning the NL East.
Yeah, and then for the Yankees, their schedule is not that easy. I mean, they're playing a lot of teams that are right in and around potential wild card entries. Mm-hmm. And when you look at their schedule, okay, they got the A's coming up, but then, they got Milwaukee, they got Tampa, they got Boston, they got Toronto, they got Baltimore, they got all those teams still left. And the weirdest scheduling that I think I've ever seen, the Yankees end at Texas. What?
You can't stand the Texas Rangers.
I mean, it's not that
you're always like, what are the Rangers? What are they?
Who are they?
Yeah, I know.
Them and the Angels spend so much money and never get anything in return.
No, you're right.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, the Rangers did have a couple of good years where they won the AL back-to-back not that long ago, and the Angels have the one World Series championship. But for the most part, you're right. They're swinging and missing on free agents. They've got a high payroll. They never have any pitching. That's really been the big story with those two teams. But, yeah, they finish at Texas.
Kind of weird how the last 4 games are in Texas.
Well, usually they try to set up like at least some sort of division matchup at the end of the season.
Well, they do play Boston, Toronto, and Baltimore before they go to Texas.
Okay.
So they're right there. But, they have Milwaukee. They got Boston, 5 or 6 more times. They got Baltimore. They got Tampa Bay 6 more times, it looks like. The Twins are hanging around. I mean, it's not like they have that's a tougher schedule than the Mets.
Sure, it is, but I think everybody's got a tougher schedule than the Mets. And with the Yankees, I mean, I'll take your Mets opinion and apply it to the Yankees because they've got such a large lead in the division still. It's really about them figuring it out. I mean, they're not paying attention to anybody else at this point. It's not really close. You don't need the scoreboard watch like you are with the Atlanta Braves with anybody in the AL East. So it's really about them getting back to what they were. And they get a guy who is critical to their lineup back tonight in Oakland, and Giancarlo Stanton, and maybe he hits the ground running, but generally that's not has been his MO. I feel like it takes him a couple games to get back into.
I kind of feel like he's getting ready for like a 2 for 22 stretch.
Yeah, right before he finally gets going again. Was just, whiffing on those sliders on the outside corner, down and away. But they do get him back, so they're going to get a little bit more healthy. And if you go back to when he got hurt, it sort of coincided with Judge's struggles, which then coincided with the Yankees losing. So that's a big positive for them getting him back. So I think that for the Yankees, it's focusing on themselves more than worrying about everybody else. Where with the Mets, yeah, you focus on yourselves. Of course, it's all right in front of you, and you got all these easy teams, but you've got a team that's breathing down your neck that never loses. And if you look around Major League Baseball, this is like the only real division race that's going on. I mean, the Mets are having the best regular season. It's unbelievable that this has to happen. The best regular season we've seen from them in 30 years. And look at this. You got the Braves, the defending World Series champion in your division that's coming on like a banshee in the second half of the season.
All right, well, just do what you got to do now in these last 37 games. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
I swear to God, I am
so
not,
easy to say. Don't worry about it.
Well, this is what Buck Showalter's got to do, and he will do it because he knows it's a long season, and he also knows that they're not going to see the Braves again until the end of the season. So why worry about what they're doing? Just do what you do. If you do what you're supposed to do and you take care of business, you're going to be fine. That's the way I look at it, and they're a good team. They've been a good team all year long. There's no reason why they shouldn't finish strong here with this schedule. And with a healthy team, they're going to get Gurame back. They're going to get Escobar back. They're going to get all the professionals back. Everybody's going to be fine. Everybody's going to relax, and hopefully the hitting comes back. They had opportunity after opportunity at game 2 against the Yankees and just could not break through. And they even had a chance in the top of the ninth to win the game.
Yeah, and to go back to that Texas thing, the great Joey from Yonkers, who checks in a lot and listens to the show. That's that schedule, that series that was rescheduled from the beginning of the season because of the strike lockout situation. Remember that? So they were supposed to play Texas. They didn't, and they moved it all the way to the end of the season.
Good for Joey from Yonkers.
There you go.
That boy, Joey from Yonkers.
That's why that happened.
That's what I'm talking about.
See? He knew that.
Well, good. I'm sure we knew that too, but this.
No, we didn't know that actually because we were talking about it.
If we don't know,
didn't mention it. Yeah,
I'm sure we talked about it at some point, like 6 months ago.
Yeah, we were just saying how it was weird, though. So I just wanted to clarify.
This is why we appreciate our audience.
That's right.
Sure
exactly.
That we're accurate.
Just want to make sure because instead of dancing around the facts, I figured we just hit it right on the bullseye.
Well, usually we're about 98% right.
Yeah.
We talked about this yesterday.
Right. Yeah, but it's just about I would say. But
they're playing them the last series.
That's why it's a little weird because they moved.
Yeah, but it's the last series is in Texas.
Yeah, they moved it all the way back.
Well, whatever.
From the beginning. Yeah.
But they have to go to Texas in the last series.
Yeah,
that's kind of weird.
But the reason it's weird.
But now we know it's weird.
Now we know why it's weird.
And good from Joey from Yonkers.
Yeah, the guy's great.
He's awesome.
He checks in. I'm telling you, we should put him on the staff.
Yeah, why don't we have him on the staff? I mean, you talk about a fact checker.
The entire warm-up show, everything I get incorrect or have a question about is right. The answer's right away on Twitter from him.
All right. Yeah, that's the point.
He's very good.
Yeah, so maybe I think we should hire him as a fact checker because you're no good at it.
That'd be great if we had a morning show
Jerry
fact
makes
checker.
mistakes all the time.
Yeah. Well, not really.
We don't need to hire him. He's doing it already.
That's true. Right.
That is a good point. He should probably stop doing it, and then we'd be like, man, we really need him around.
Right. No, then we'd forget about him.
Yeah, I got at the NFL today. I got Brian Coyle in my ear, Wayne Fiddleman running out.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what happens.
No, don't say that. Don't say that. That's not true.
I mean, TV's got guys like that all over the place.
Yeah. Well, we're on TV.
Yeah, but true, we are. Why doesn't CBS Sports Network give us a fact checker?
Stephen Waldron.
Stephen Waldron, why don't we have a fact checker on staff? You don't have one either? Meaning like nobody over there at CBS? I mean, Boomer's got two of them. He just mentioned two guys.
Yeah, you know Coyle and Fiddleman. Oh, that's what it is.
We better get someone up at this hour because we need a fact checker.
But I
You
will
got-
say that the TV guys, they do offer stuff, and I give it to you guys. Don't always get a chance to credit them, but they help us out.
Okay, very good. You open to hiring Joey from Yonkers over there at CBS? Have to vet him. All right, very good, Steven. Good talking to you. I'm sure we'll check in later. All right, it's Boomer and Gio on the Fan and CBS Sports Network. Just getting started on this Thursday morning. We'll talk to Jerry Recco coming up in just a couple of minutes with his first update of the day.